So let's open that discussion up, right? We talk about the president's remarks and what members of the Tripartite Alliance feel about the state of the union, of the Government of National Unity, but certainly the state of the party at the time. From the Tripartite Alliance's view, we're joined by SACP spokesperson, Mr. Mbulelo Mandlana, who is in studio with us. On video link, we are joined by the ANC Veterans League's president, Dr. Snuki Zikalala. We're joined by COSATU's first deputy president, Mike Shingange, and Sanko spokesperson, Mr. Mzugisi Jam. Remember to send us your comments via WhatsApp on 072-110-5584. Or give us a call on 010-594-6010. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Dr. Zikalala, I do want to start with you. As you represent the ANC Veterans League, you've got, the statements that have come out from the Democratic Alliance, for instance, so incredibly colorful, right? The statement coming out of the DA ending off with, "We thank the ANC president as a coalition partner and the Government of National Unity for recognition where it's due." At some point in the statement, it writes, "We are flattered, Mr. President, because now you know what millions of voters across South Africa know. Only the DA delivers." And Mr. Dr. Zikalala, what you make of the commentary that's coming from the Democratic Alliance, the moment also you heard the president make the statements about competition isn't a bad thing, there is something to be learned from Stellenbosch and Cape Town and the DA. Your thoughts?
Yeah, good evening, and good evening to you and to the viewers. I think the DA is very opportunistic. The president did not say that you should learn from the DA in terms of everything that they do. Do not say that clean audits does not mean that they do return some of the funds that they get from government, which are meant for poor communities like Langa and Kailicha. Doesn't mean that the DA is the DA we know very well, all of us. The DA is a racist party. The DA does not serve black communities appropriately, adequately, and does not provide them with quality service in where they live. We know that. And so the president was saying the best practice is a question of them having clean audits. And clean audits does not mean that black communities are being disadvantaged in the Western Cape. And so we as veterans feel that the DA is very, very opportunistic. You look what happened yesterday. The DA in Maitland, the communities which were living in squatter camps for more than 17 years, and what were they doing? They were shooting rubber bullets at them. In DA, how many gangster violence is there? It's more prevalent in gangster violence, more prevalent in Cape Town, where the DA governs. The DA protects the minority, which are white people in Cape Town, but forget completely about the black majority that is there in Cape Town. And so they are taking the whole thing out of context. And so there's nothing wrong in learning from what other people are doing. Of course, as Comrade Sputler said this morning, is that the DA went when Comrade Pakstau was the mayor of Gauteng. There he came to Johannesburg to learn the best practice of how Wi-Fi was rolled out to communities in Johannesburg. They came to Cape Town, to Johannesburg. And so what's wrong? People say, okay, let's see exactly what can we take out of what the DA is doing. But we can't take their racist policies and, of course, practice them within the African National Congress. The African National Congress is not a racist organization. It's an organization that serves all South Africans, irrespective of race, color, and creed. And we are not discriminating people according to their color. And so that's what the president is not saying. Right. He's not saying that at all.
Well, let's hear from Mr. Mandlana, who is, of course, the spokesperson for the South African Communist Party. Again, good evening to you. What a moment. We've watched the Communist Party again and again speak out against the Democratic Alliance as part of this Government of National Unity. A moment like where we hear the president of the ANC yesterday make reference to the Democratic Alliance. Again, that statement stands out. The DA saying, "We are flattered, Mr. President." What's the SACP's initial reaction?
Well, we will not speak for the ANC. Neither are we prepared to respond directly to the DA. But we can make this general statement that from a political strategy standpoint, these kind of comments come at an unfortunate time. But it is also a little bit exaggerated for the DA to read what the president was saying as an absolute praise. We don't think that is correct. On the other side, I think the point must be made that when the DA appears to be commended, the DA must not read that so-called commendation as something that exclusively belongs to them. These clean audits that they are having, they are not exclusively theirs. There are many local government structures that are run by the ANC that had a lot of those clean audits. But at the same time, we must not ignore the fact that the local government sphere is full of crisis. And as the Communist Party, we think that that crisis must not be ignored. But to take it to the extent that the DA is the model for this sort of solutions that we seek, that would be stretching it too far. Our point remains, of course, the only one, that there must be a new way that the alliance rethinks the questions of interventions in local government. There must be a way in which the alliance re-strategizes about how to approach matters of transformation. Of course, the most important and, in fact, the most urgent issue is the fact that this roll call of the councillors that was called by the ANC includes councillors that are members of the Communist Party, but there was no invitation of the Communist Party to go into that particular event. So it actually reflects that at a different level, the ANC continues to act singularly and in isolation of its alliance partners and conceives of the leadership role it has over government as exclusively its own and not that of the alliance, which of course is unfortunate.
Let's bring COSATU in here. Mr. Mike Shingangi, of course, the first Deputy President of COSATU. The utterances, I mean, the SACP saying there is a sense that there isn't an inclusion of the some alliance partners in a process as important as the roll call. And then this big debate, what is being called the DA's opportunism. What is COSATU and your own membership reflecting on at this time?
No, thank you very much, Naleli. No, firstly, we, like the Communist Party have said, we would have preferred that the ANC is part of the panel, so that when there's the alliance partners, we discuss these matters. We are discussing as the alliance partners, but I'm sure there's a reason for that they're not here. We've got three things to say. The first thing is that I think on hindsight, even the ANC and the president will concede that the comparison of the ANC-run councillors and the reference to the DA as an area in which we must go and learn could have been handled better. The issues the president was raising about the state of local government sphere of our government and the state of the municipalities, including the issues of the Auditor General's report, are things that ourselves as COSATU over many, many, many years we have been raising. In the NATLAC, we have been raising in the boardroom within the alliance partners, which including the ANC, in the bilateral with the president himself, including in the streets, when ourselves and our affiliate, the South African Municipal Workers Union, have been raising this thing, that some of these things lead to the workers not being paid even their salaries, lead to some companies closing shop because of lack of service deliveries. But also have raised the point that when we say the government is splitting fiscals, part of it is because of the losses that we suffer at the level of the municipalities, including the provincial departments. But we want to say that it's unfair to want to, because the president, by the way, did come from that Nazareth, did come to our central committee to address us, and he made this example. He made an example about an area where he has a house himself, which is in Cape Town, and what people who work directly for the municipalities are working and digging the holes and making sure that the pipes are fixed, and blaming the councillors that are run by the ANC because they are outsourcing services that are supposed to be run by people who work for the municipalities. But the question is, whose policy is that? It is not the independents, those councillors or that council that take the decision to outsource. It's what the ANC has been practicing. So it is unfair to blame the councillors here in public for implementing the policy of the ANC for outsourcing municipal services to private hands. Private hands and companies, many of which are actually owned by the very same leaders of the ANC. The second point I want to make is that the choice, Naledi, of Cape Town and Stellenbosch is quite unfortunate. I mean, in Cape Town, when you land at the airport and you drive to the city, there's N2 there. You see on your left-hand side what is happening. So what are we talking about when we're talking about Cape Town being run by DA better? It's only when you get to the city. It means the DA, unlike the ANC, is servicing the minority population of this country. It means the DA, its task is to maintain the status quo of the clean Cape Town that has long been developed. The DA's mandate is not to improve and develop Khayelitsha and all the squatters that are surrounding the city of Cape Town. It is unfair to compare Tzaneen municipalities or Soweto with the DA. That the ANC is largely running municipalities of people who are impoverished that can pay and raise revenues. Whereas the DA, it's running the municipalities, at least the cities that have got people who run revenue. The third thing is that, Naledi, what the ANC as a government since 1994 has been trying to do in this country to improve the living conditions of our people and develop the underdeveloped areas of our country is the legacy of the Democratic Alliance when they were in government. The Democratic Alliance was in government before the ANC was in government. They were part of the National Party, they were part of the DP. They were always serving the minority in this country. They created the inequality that exists in the country. The reason why we've got a huge backlog as a country to try and address the imbalances of the past and uplift our people from poverty and underdevelopment is the legacy of the Democratic Alliance in its former self when they were in government. So it is unfair and unfortunate that it is the very same oppressors, the people who serve the minority, the people who created the inequality that we must go and learn from how to continue to divide our people. So as COSATU, we denounce that. We think that's been unfortunate, and I think that we could have made a better example on how we can improve how we manage our municipalities, including making an example about Johannesburg and Tshwane, which was run by the ANC mayors before the DA took over and plundered them to the situation where they are in now.
I do want to say, just as you started there, Mr. Shinganga, you said the ANC is not here, and you did hear at the beginning there, we do have Mr. Snooky Zikalala of the Veterans League of the ANC, who actually made the point around previously run municipalities by the ANC and services that have been there. Some of them not necessarily still projects that are running. But let's bring in Sanko, Mr. Mzugisi-Jam. Sure, I mean, it was a mouthful there from COSATU's first deputy president. The utterances of the president, the response by the Democratic Alliance and other political parties that have started to respond to the comparison of ANC-led local municipalities versus DA-led local municipalities. What does that say to yourself when you take issues down to the ground?
Thank you very much, Naledi, for having us. You know, as Sanko, on behalf of the citizens of this country, where we are beyond flabbergasted. We won't even start to or begin to dispute what the president had said. But what really shocks us is to realize just how hard we have fallen as the country. Because now we find ourselves in a situation where we must really and seriously argue and debate as to who is failing the community better than the other. It's honestly, it's beyond hurtful, Naledi, because the reality is that across the country, there is poor service delivery. So we won't even get into a debate or an argument as to who is failing the community better than the other. But the reality is that all of these ward councillors and in all of these municipalities, we are having issues. Now, people who would really say municipality X is better than municipality Y, it's definitely people who are not with us on the ground. Because, Naledi, if you come down where we are as the community, the situation is totally different. There is totally no one is better than the other. But what really hurts us the most is that at the center of everything that is happening here, at the center of this game that is played, it's people's lives. The community is desperate for proper, effective, and efficient service delivery. And we are here listening to all these people arguing about who's better than the other and who's worse than the other. The reality is that Naledi, things are worse on the ground. There is no service delivery across the country.
Yeah, you know that.
So obviously,
right. I think that point is made. What I want to do is take a short break. When we come back, we'll unpack this further. And Mr. Mzuki Sijam makes an interesting point. For anyone who's watching at home, they just want to see the services there, and not necessarily the back and forth about who runs them better. They just want water, electricity, refuse removal, and so much more. When we come back, we'll talk about how we get there. And is there a sense that the alliance partners are being heard in some of the complaints and the messaging that they are giving to the African National Congress? Stay with us. We're back in a minute. Welcome back. We continue our discussion with members of the Tripartite Alliance. And of course, this is on the back of the ANC having accused the Democratic Alliance of political opportunism. This is after the president of the ANC's comments yesterday that DA-run municipalities are better governed. We're taking a few calls. Tsetlo is in Marble Hall. Tsetlo, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, Tsetlo, thank you for calling. Talk to us.
Yes. Mr. Chigang is just defending the ANC. Go and visit all the municipalities in Limpopo, where I'm staying, where the ANC is governing. It's a mess. We don't have anything. You can, even now, I'm telling you, give the ANC the next 8 years, they'll still give you some excuses. They failed us. So the best is to remove them from power, and then we'll see. And that Mr. Chigang and the COSATU, let them listen to the manifestos of other political parties. As a workers union, let them listen to them and support those who are supporting them. What happened in the 2 years that Ramaphosa didn't give government employees a salary increase? Now they also must support them.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Tsetlo, thank you so much. Sanele is in Ladysmith. Sanele, good evening.
Hey, thank you, my sister. How are you?
I'm well, sir. Thank you so much for calling. Talk to us.
Oh, my sister, thanks. No, my sister, I will just briefly.
Sure.
No, I don't agree with Mr. Zigalala, because what he's saying, Mr. Doral, is totally wrong. Look, the president was saying a fact. The president was saying a statement that is so important to the ANC. So this is a disaster when the veterans of the ANC, like Mr. Zigalala, is saying something that is so totally with no grounds of circumstances. Because really, show me one municipality that is run by ANC that is doing well. Look now, yesterday Mr. Sluki Zigalala was enrolled to what they call it a bomb squad to Gauteng, to go and assist there. What he was going to do there if the ANC is running the municipal accordingly and so well. And DA is far better. That was, the president was just analyzing and giving. That's why all those ANC councillors have to go to there. Because seriously, one, the ANC itself said that there is an illiteracy among the ANC. So is it that an opportunistic? It's not. Even with that guy that you are with in studio, here, let us not say the propaganda and the myth. The guy that is on the studio, he must just deliberate on the issues of the day, not to be sympathetic. It is a fact.
Okay, Sanele, thank you so much. Sure. I mean, those are big points that you've made there, right? You think about that bomb squad and the role that it's supposed to play in really tackling the challenges from municipalities. And perhaps, Dr. Zigalala, you want to respond to that. But this stood out for me from our callers. Tsetlo in Marble Hall says, our municipalities that are ANC run are facing massive challenges. And then he goes on to say, actually what we need to do is now remove them from power. Now this is a critically important moment for the African National Congress. 2026 is coming up. The people that are going to be making their decisions on where they put their X next year will be looking at their immediate surrounds, right? And you think about the example of a Stellenbosch versus Cape Town. Well, if I am in, Bojanala, I don't have that context. I have the context of my challenge right now. I suppose the question is, what is it that needs to be done then to turn this narrative around when you've already got listeners and viewers that are saying, now let's remove them from power. I can't be compared to Stellenbosch. I am in Ditsobotla. Dr. Zigalala? Yes, go ahead.
Oh, okay. No. I heard what the listeners are saying. I think they are completely wrong. We can't say let's remove the ANC, and because the ANC has done absolutely nothing for the poor. The ANC has transformed this country, whether people like it or not. The ANC has made sure you go to Limpopo. Limpopo has really improved. Limpopo, there are very few gravel roads in town. The people have improved with education. The education has improved. It's only in some parts of the rural areas where people are suffering. And so what the ANC and the government of South Africa says, the last 30 years, we have made tremendous strides in ensuring that we improve the quality of our people in South Africa, in making sure that majority of our people have education, majority of our people have housing, majority of people have water and sanitation, majority of our people have electricity. In Limpopo, there were areas which had no electricity at all. It was dark at night. But we are saying that because the population is growing, because of a lot of immigration into the country, the resources are small. And so for you to say push them out, I think it's a discussion which is not meant for this. And we as the African National Congress, where we have erred, we do agree that we have erred, we've made mistakes. We've made mistakes, of course, we agree that there are people, individuals who don't have skills, individuals who are corrupt, individuals who don't have passion from delivering quality service to our people. There was lack of accountability, and the president made it very clear yesterday. Those who are found wanting, every individual must be held accountable. If they don't service the masses because they're elected into those positions to serve the masses, then they must leave. He made it very clear. He said the door is open, or else we'll throw them out of the window. Now he's asking, what am I doing as a bomb squad? The ANC agrees, and we all agree, that the DA, when it came into Johannesburg, they decimated Johannesburg. They really decimated it. Johannesburg is not what Masondo left and what Pakistan left. You go in there, you find that they destroyed Johannesburg completely. The same thing with Pretoria, with Tshwane. Tshwane itself, it was run by DA. The mess that is there is not a small mess, it's a big mess. And so all that we are saying, we are South Africans, and all that we are saying, Cape Town is run by South African government. It's not a federal organization. Yeah. And so we are not saying that Cape Town is best because it's out of South Africa. Cape Town is in South Africa.
This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do, Dr. Zikalala, because it's important also to hear from the alliance partners if that position of the ANC is being held by those that support the party. Now, obviously, the SACP going into elections alone next year, and I wonder if you still are invested in what it is that the ANC does internally. So the action plan, the 6 pillars that it gives to its local councillors as an SACP that says we're still part of the alliance, but we're going at the elections alone. Are you watching? Are you invested in what they do?
Yeah. The mandate of local government that is now sitting and the national government is a mandate that was earned by the participation of the Communist Party in the electoral process. By virtue of that, we are an interested party in that, which is why, as the Communist Party, we have criticized the fact that the so-called roll call was convened without considering the particular positions of the Communist Party, its participation, or even in the formulation of the idea of the roll call, which was never mooted, never discussed, which of course continues this problematic trend of undermining of the alliance in the political decision-making process. But that is not what we are discussing here today, right now. The question you are asking me, and therefore the Communist Party in this sense, is whether or not this discourse that has really ballooned on all our faces has anything to do with the fact that the Communist Party is going into elections next year. The Communist Party is going into elections. It would have done so even if there was not this controversy of this particular week. We are going to continue to make our plans, to put our plans together, to move towards elections. And the reason why we are going into elections is because totality of these issues at the local government level have reached a crisis level, and the working class requires a better representation that empowers them even more than it is happening right now.
Right.
So that continues.
All right, Mr. Jam, from SANCO's point of view, does the action plan for the 4,500 local councillors have SANCO's support? And are you still confident that the ANC can turn around its performance in local council? I think your mic is off, Mr. Jam.
Thank you.
Sure.
It would really be wrong to say for the past 30 and more years, there has never been any sort of improvement. That would be misleading. A lot has been done, but on the same breath, we would be lying if we are saying the community is happy with the current situation. So something really has to be done as urgent as possible. But what we wanted to call order on is a narrative that there are councillors who seem to be delivering services more than others, because all of these councillors, 99.9%, do not even call community meetings. We call community meetings as SANCO. There are no community meetings which are called by ward councillors, which makes you wonder as to if they are saying they are attending to community issues, which issues? Where do they get money? What do they know? So honestly, something has to be done as speedily as possible. We still really strongly believe that the rot that is currently happening within the municipalities, it's a rot that can still be uprooted. Now, lady, we are under the so-called government of national unity, which the community was hoping that perhaps there would be a lot of improvement. But the only thing that we see is this competition, which has no community at the center of it.
Yeah.
It's the competition between these political parties, one thinking that is better than the other. But at the center of it, no one is actually talking about the communities who are at the receiving end of everything.
Right.
So
that
honestly, if we would say Party A would do better than Party B, we must see that in the middle of this, GNU. But at the moment, they are all the same.
Okay.
The community now is desperately looking for service delivery and other things and other social ills which continue to haunt us. We are not interested in all of this game that is being played at the moment.
Right. So in the action plan that was given to these local councillors, Pillar 5 of that action plan asks for inclusive local economic development that creates jobs and strengthens investment attractiveness. Mr. Shingange, you look at the issue of the skills that we have in ANC local councillors. If this action plan actually speaks to that capability of being able to create those opportunities that your members are most invested in, and if you, as COSATU, then believe in this approach that is being taken by the ANC ahead of 2026?
No, not only in 2026. The action plan that has been identified by the NEC, and including the bomb squad that have been deployed somewhere else. We're in support of that because it is our people that are going to benefit if the service delivery in our communities are scaled up and are prioritized. So we're in support of anything that seeks to strengthen the service delivery at the local government spheres because like SANCO said, the communities are not happy and it's not like these things are new. That's why our disagreement is not about whether or not the president was right about that we need to do things better. Our disagreement is one, the choices of the examples he made of Cape Town and Stellenbosch is not apple with apple. Because you should have, and the choice of the political party that we must go and learn from, only on as far as the clean audit is concerned, but not on service delivery, because we contend that the Democratic Alliance doesn't deliver service delivery for the people of the Western Cape. It delivers to the selected minority few that they've always been privileged, not the majority that's still looking for upliftment. So that is not service delivery. So clean audit, if you go to Collins Chawana municipalities and you go to Cape Town municipality, Metro Rand municipality, and you talk about clean audit, you must first check how do we receive resources, how do we spend, on who do we spend the resources. The city of Cape Town that is spend resources to uplift Kailicha and the scholars that are lining up around M2. It just continue to maintain the status quo in the city. So that is not a correct comparison. Okay. Yes, If that is going to help, so we don't agree, just to answer one or two of your callers, Naledi.
Yeah.
There was a caller that says to us as COSATU, we must listen to other political parties' manifesto. We have always listened to other political parties' manifesto. The question is, do we agree with them or not? We don't agree with most of them. We have always agreed with manifestos because partly we have been participating in the formulation of the manifesto of the African National Congress. And our demand and our grievance was the implementation thoroughly and through the one that we have agreed with as an alliance, the manifesto of the ANC. But two, the workers are going to decide when they listen to manifesto as we go into 2026. But we don't agree that the African National Congress must be taken out of power. And in this instance, it's the DA that must replace the African National Congress. We disagree with that. Whether it's the president saying so, it doesn't matter who says so. We disagree that the Democratic Alliance, a party that brought South Africa to be where it is now in terms of the impoverishment of our people and the inequality that happens, is a party that we must learn from how to divide our people, how to widen the inequality in this country, how to deepen the poverty of our people, how to switch off the lights of our people.
Yeah.
We are saying we could have made better examples, including the examples of the municipalities that were run properly by the African National Congress before, and then the president could have asked the question, what went wrong? Can we go back to the basics of how we used to run Johannesburg, how we used to run Nelson Mandela, how did we used to run Tshwane municipality, how did you used to run Tshwane municipality,
right.
Who messed it up, and how do we get back to the basic? Rather to ask us to go and compare to our people who want us to see us deepen poverty and widen the gap of inequality in this country. That's what we disagree about. We don't disagree that there's a problem in the local government.
Right.
We don't disagree that there must be improvement. We don't.
Okay,
we agree with
so
that.
this is what I'm hearing from alliance partners for the most part is, yes, there's some criticism for, some messaging and also the performance of some ANC-led areas. But for the most part, somewhat of an investment from alliance partners to see the ANC do well, even on the part of the SACP, to see some sort of improvement there. So then as we close off, this would be my final question. And in fact, let me start with Sanko for this one. Mr. Jam, your marching orders as Sanko that says we want to see local government operating better. They've been given this action plan, create institutional capacity, financial management, restore trust and connect with the people. How? Let's give these local councillors that have been even told by the chairperson of the ANC that they have ill discipline, that they sing more than they actually, perform, which is, rather scathing. Marching orders to those local councillors from Sanko.
Honestly, the first thing that they need to do, Naledi, is to start taking the communities seriously. They need to start involving the communities literally on everything that has to be happening. Our point of departure should be that what councillors who do not even call community meetings, honestly, there is no point in keeping them there because who are they serving?
Okay.
So, and secondly, we are of a view that if perhaps the government would start listening to us as Sanko as and when we try to engage them and show them what exactly has to be done, perhaps things would actually work more differently, right? Because we literally the only ones at the moment who are with these communities on a daily basis on the ground.
All right. Mr. Shingange, marching orders for ANC local councillors.
No. We think that it's proper that they take the orders from the ANC. All we are saying is that the ANC leadership at the top level, the criticism that they are leveling at the councils that are run by the ANC, they must not absorb themselves from their responsibilities because in most instances, it is not an independent views of those councillors to do what they are doing or not to do what's supposed to be done. They have been implementing the directives and the policies for the ANC. Yeah. So the ANC have to take a collective responsibility from the top to bottom or from the bottom to top. The ANC at the top level must also accept a criticism that will come from those local councillors, those ward councillors that have got no resources, that they've got no means of doing anything at all, but they rely on the top government. Right. They must also have in time, instead of them coming here and receiving marching orders, the leadership of the ANC must also listen to the people who are interacting with our people on a daily basis, and they have got the structural constraints that they can't do anything.
Yeah. Okay.
Because there's a bottleneck from Treasury, for instance, from COGTA, from the management at the level of the NECs and so on and so on. So it should be a collective responsibility. But we support the marching orders. We need to accelerate service delivery to our people, not for the purpose of the local government that is coming, but for the purpose of our people receiving service delivery tomorrow,
right.
having water tomorrow, not in 2026.
Okay. From the SACP, do you have any sort of marching orders for the ANC's local councillors when next year you'll be campaigning for yourselves?
Well, we are not excluded from discussing on current politics because we are appearing on the ballot next year. Yeah, but that is not the important point. I don't even think the approach to take is to give marching orders to councillors. I don't think that is the approach. This is not a soccer match and a coach giving instructions. Transformation and functioning of power is much more complex than that. And I think that the leadership must take a better approach than the approach that was taken in the so-called roll call event, because it is not really transcending the problems of the particular system of local government.
Right.
And the approach that has been taken with regards to this calling individual councillors to one venue, as though the functions of government are built around those individuals. And if those individuals are the actual decision makers in the system of the state, it's an uninformed approach. And
okay.
we think that is problematic. There must be a different strategy to be taken up.
All right. Dr. Zikalala, your final thoughts. And in fact, I wouldn't even want to just hear your call to action to local councillors, but perhaps your message as the Veterans League to alliance partners around the role that they have to play to, get that messaging out there to these local councillors, show support as well. And I guess, it speaks to the strength of the alliance at this time.
Well, we as the ANC were still committed to the tripartite alliance. And as Shingange said, that we don't want to take ANC out of power. And we are saying that we are going to work together. We are in this together. We've been with the alliance partners since more than 20 decades with the alliance partners. And we are the ones who transformed this organization. We are the ones who brought about liberation in South Africa with the alliance partners, no one else. And so all of us are committed to reconnect with the people, all of us, the four of us, that let's reconnect with our people. Let's restore trust and accountability. Let's make sure that councillors take communities seriously. They must have community meetings. I live here where I'm living. My councillors never called a community meeting. My branch meet only when there are elections. The program of action is not there from my branch. And so that's what you're saying, that must change. That must change, and it has to change for the interest of society where we live. And so the president of the ANC made it very clear. All NEC members must go and join their branches as ordinary members, not as leaders, so that they participate in the activities of communities. They must make sure that there's water, sanitation, that there's no crime in that area, there are no drug dealers in that area, that there's development where they live.
Right.
And so what we are saying with the alliance partners, that's what we are all committed to do, that we must create jobs for young people. We're all worried about young people not getting jobs.
Right.
So it's important that we should create an enabling environment so that investors can come into the country. But what is important that the president said yesterday is that let's stop outsourcing services to the private sector. He made it very clear. Let's insource the services. That's what the president said. Because when they are outsourced, poor workers are really exploited.
Right.
And so government is committed to do that. And we are saying that we agree on that with our alliance partners.
Okay. Well, this has been quite the discussion, and really interesting to hear the perspective of not just the Veterans League, but also alliance partners as well. But we'll take one last caller. Walter in Pretoria. Walter, good evening.
Good evening, my lady. How are you?
I'm well, Dada. Thank you for calling.
Thank you very much. I think the comparison by the president is not only unfortunate, but it is also regrettable. One is that if you check, the idea to parade the DA as a model of excellence is incorrect, and it must be rejected with the content that it deserves.
Okay.
Let's check, for example, since the establishment of local government election, local government structure, in the city of Tshwane, we never had a disclaimer, for example. But the disclaimer was caught during the tenure of the Democratic Alliance. If you check in Khayelitsha, there's no service there. If you check everywhere in South Africa where the DA is running the municipality, the working class areas in those particular municipalities, they are not being serviced.
Okay, Walter, thank you for calling in, and that point has been made, but an important one nonetheless. Let's take a look at a few WhatsApps that have come in as well at this time. W. Rolfontaine says, the president's comments must be viewed in light of the amount of complaints received from the public. At least the voters have a voice in the president. The presidential imbizos are yielding results because our cries have been taken into the ANC engine room. Okay? Stamen in Mushiani says, this is what is killing our organization, where lots of our comrades deny the truth, meaning they are not willing to change into good governance. Instead, they want to protect this corrupt municipality official. What the president said is the truth. What they must do is to learn from those municipalities and give services to the people rather than playing politics. All right? All right, and we'll leave it there. Thank you so much to our guests, Mr. Mbulelo Mandlana, SACP National Spokesperson, in studio with us via video link, Mr. Mike Shingange, First Deputy President of COSATU, Mr. Mzugisi Jam, who is, of course, the spokesperson for the South African National Civic Organization, and Dr. Snuki Zigalala, President of the ANC Veterans League. We've got more news on the other side of this. Stay with us.